Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
You have questions about Social Security. Guess what? We've got answers. Today, I'll share with you the 10 most frequently asked questions about Social Security. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the WorryFree Retirement, with your host, five-time author and fiduciary, the money missionary himself, Tony Walker.
Welcome to the WorryFree Retirement, and we are recording this on January 23rd, 2008 in our Louisville studios. Incidentally, Aaron, we've got an updated picture of our new building that is currently being remodeled on Shelbyville Road in Louisville. Our current offices in Louisville are in more of a condominium complex. It's a great little setup, and that's where we have our studio. But one thing Aaron and I are both looking forward to, hopefully, more silence. It's funny, every time we get ready to do this show, right now there's some people out there doing construction. I've never heard so much noise. So if you keep hearing the beep beep, that's what it is. Reminds me of a story. Years ago, I heard a gentleman had come to me. He wanted to work on a retirement plan, and I said, well, sir, what did you used to do for a living? And he said, well, I operated one of those big track hoes. Those are the huge excavating pieces of equipment you'd see out on the highway, and that's where he was. If you drove up and down I-65, he was probably in one of those track hoes. They were humongous. And I said, wow, that's interesting, sir. How'd you get in that business? He said, well, I was only 15 or 16 at the time and working on a construction crew, and I was out digging ditches. And there was a gentleman on a bulldozer on the crew that was very experienced operating the bulldozer. And I wanted to learn how to drive a bulldozer, so we all took a break, and he was getting ready to get back on the bulldozer, and I said, hey, you mind showing me how to run that bulldozer? And he goes, no, I'll teach you how to drive it. So I climbed up in the cab, and he was kind of there standing beside me, and he goes, the gentleman I'm talking to goes, okay, what's the first thing I need to do? And this is hilarious. The guy looked at him and says, the first thing you need to do is make a lot of racket. So we got a lot of racket going out there. Hopefully this show isn't a bunch of racket. It's just great information. And we're going to be talking about Social Security, 10 of the most frequently asked questions on Social Security. So you may be one of those lucky few, and there are just a few out there now, that is enjoying one of those big, fat pension plans like my granddad had, all that guaranteed mailbox money. Well, don't you realize it, of course, but you may already have a pension plan, and it's called Social Security. That's right. And Social Security, just like annuities, just like pension plans, could be worth a small fortune to you. Again, I welcome you to the WorryFree Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and we do appreciate you joining us. And we're going to talk about, again, the 10 most common questions regarding Social Security. So as we're kind of setting the stage here, most people don't have pension plans, but I would argue, yes, you do, because most people are eligible for Social Security, and they're really the same thing. Pensions, annuities, Social Security basically work on this premise. Somewhere, somehow, there's a big pot of money, and that pot of money is going to pay you a guaranteed income you can never outlive, and in most cases, at your death, that income stops. So let's set the stage. You've been contributing to Social Security for several decades. Maybe you're retired or getting ready to retire. You go way back to your first paycheck as a kid. Remember that? I do. At the time, I was working over at Cape Codder Seafood Restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky. It was over there off Southland Drive. I was in this in the mid-70s. I'm 16. I get my first check. I don't know, it was like $30 or whatever it was. And I see this deduction for FICA. I didn't know what that was. That was Social Security. So ever since then, I've been paying into Social Security just like you. And here's the thing. Here's what people don't realize. Even if you've earned a modest income, the amount of money you've contributed to Social Security and the amount of Social Security that could be paid to you could literally be in the six figures. And if you've made above average income, it could be well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is a huge, huge deal in terms of how you claim your benefits. And the huge deal is, this is very complicated and confusing stuff, folks. And you say, why is it so confusing? Well, the government came up with it. What do you think? So you're faced with possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential mistakes, and then the government throws out all of these options you've got to consider. Well, we're going to help you today kind of sift through and think through these options. So here's what I've learned from doing this for over 33 years. Unfortunately, many Americans take their benefits of Social Security at face value and sometimes end up losing thousands of dollars. It's not if you claim Social Security, it's when, and that's where we're here to help you. So if you've got questions about claiming Social Security, today's show is going to set the record straight. First of all, let me say this. There's a little statistic that's kind of worth noting. Due to the fact that the prospect of Social Security could run out of money, which will be one of our questions in a minute, many Americans worry about this. In fact, the vast majority of Americans over age 50, more than 3/4 of these folks, worry about Social Security running out. As you get a little older, they say about 63% are worried, and that makes sense. The older you are, more than likely, the more likely Social Security is going to hang around. But nevertheless, this study conducted by the Nationwide Retirement Institute reveals a startling fact. It's not just you that's worried about Social Security running out, it's a lot of people, and for good reason. First of all, if we got to set the stage, Social Security is very, very important to everyone's retirement. Unless you're a teacher, of course, and under the teacher's retirement, but most people collect on Social Security. In fact, I have clients, sometimes people don't believe this, but they are able to live just on their Social Security alone. They don't need any other income. So Social Security is vitally important to 90% of the people we meet. It's really kind of like the foundation of the income plan. By the way, retirement planning is really about income. I don't know if you've heard this old saying, in real estate, it's all about location. In fact, a real estate agent might tell you that the three most important words in real estate, you probably heard this: location, location, location. Well, as a retirement specialist, I'm here to tell you when we get into retirement planning, the three most important words in retirement planning is income, income, income. And your ability to generate income will dictate what kind of lifestyle you're going to have in retirement. It could mean the difference between doing very little and enjoying quite a bit of stuff out there. And it all starts as a foundation with understanding the Social Security and maximizing that Social Security income. Again, it doesn't matter if you've earned a modest amount of money throughout your lifetime, it's still a big number potentially. If you've earned a lot of money, it's an even bigger number. And if you make mistakes on this, there's no do-overs. You can't go back and change things once you start claiming when you want to take benefits with Social Security. So it's a huge, huge issue. By the way, this date again is January 23rd, 2018. We're holding one of our first Social Security workshops in Bowling Green. We're going to have it later tonight. Now, the registrations will kind of fool you with these things. We've got, I think, 115. Was that the last one, Aaron? 120 or so. It's crazy. But I said, why are so many people registering for this? And I think what it is because this topic, by the way, we didn't even offer any free dinners, folks. Nothing. We're not even going to have cold water there. It's just, hey, show up and learn about Social Security. So I think it's because of the topic, and I definitely think because it's confusing, and I think almost 100% of the people have to know what to do with their Social Security. So we're excited about that workshop. If you're in the Louisville area, we'll be bringing one to Louisville soon. But again, we'll let you know how that went, and again, that's tonight in Bowling Green. We'll have already, obviously this is pre-recorded, and we'll let you know how that went. Excited about it. By the way, Lisa in our office is become a resident expert. You can email Lisa at TonyWalkerFinancial.com, Lisa at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. She's certified in Social Security planning. We want to get this stuff right, and we want to do all we can to educate our clients about Social Security benefits. So I guess here, let me summarize this thing. Folks, you've paid a lot of money into this system called Social Security. And it's a complicated system. So why not get it right? Why not get with somebody like us who is making a valiant effort to help you maximize this? So again, let me make sure you understand. We have a free offer. Now you have to be 60 years of age or older. This is for people nearing retirement or already getting ready to claim their benefits. Let me give you a toll-free number. You want to call this number if you want the free Social Security analysis. All right, this is absolutely free. So you want to call this number specifically, 888-223-4433. So again, you're going to call 888-223-4433. You have to be 60 years of age or older. We're going to need a little bit of information. What you want to do is call that number and tell them you want the free analysis. We'll get some information from you and get that to you. Going to be very, very important. Another statistic to keep in mind, nearly 80%, again, this is why we're covering these questions, nearly 80% of future retirees who work with a financial advisor, this is interesting, and you say, why are you getting into this stuff so much, Tony? said they would switch advisors if they thought they could maximize their Social Security. Now, folks, you may have an advisor out there. Again, we always kid around about these dinner seminars, but if nobody's talking about Social Security, you need to get a second opinion from us. Because again, folks, you could be leaving a lot of money on the table. So second opinions, you don't have an advisor that talks about Social Security, you're out there on your own doing this by yourself, don't go it alone. Give us an opportunity. Let's take a quick break. We're going to get our questions. I'm going to get the whiteboard out because I want to show you a couple of cases that will specifically involve when to take Social Security. So when I get back, we're going to give you the 10 common questions of Social Security, a couple of case studies, going to be some good stuff. Let me get the whiteboard out. I'll be right back. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement.
And now it's time for the adventures of Stella, the Black Russian Terrier. You've been watching The Adventures of Stella, the Black Russian Terrier.
Feel like the financial world is making more money on your money than you are? Tired of working hard to save money only to get 1% in return? Well, I'm Tony Walker, inviting you to meet with me in person to create a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To schedule your no-obligation appointment with me, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. While there, just click on the Let's Get Started button and we'll make that happen at your convenience. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Do you currently own an annuity, or are you thinking about buying one? Well, if you don't have a game plan for that annuity and how to use and enjoy it properly, don't buy it. I'm Tony Walker, and for the past 15 years, I've written nearly 2,000 annuities for savers. Learn why so many people are considering the advantage of having a worry-free retirement in place so you can better understand the annuity. To schedule a free personal meeting with me today, just simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Don't you owe it to yourself to get a second opinion? Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. We got to get going here. We got 10 questions, commonly asked questions we want to cover. First, when am I eligible to receive my benefits? Now, in most cases, you can begin receiving benefits when you turn age 62. Of course, for every year you delay taking those benefits, I'm going to show you this on the whiteboard, those benefits will increase at a rate of about 8% per year. So in a perfect world, let's assume that we know you're going to live a long time. Maybe you've got great health, your family's lived a long time. The standard answer is you should not take your benefits at 62, but put them off till age 70. The age at which there is no reason to delay taking benefits. In other words, you might as well take it at 70. You don't want to take it at 71 because it stops growing at the 8%. So I'll show you on the board here in just a second. We got to get to our questions, what I'm talking about. Okay, question number 2. How is eligibility determined? How is eligibility determined? Well, basically, you have to earn wages to even qualify for Social Security, and you have to earn a minimum number of quarters, and that number of quarters is 40. Now, you can confirm these quarters to make sure that you've been accounted for properly and that you've had wages during those quarters. You can contact the Social Security Administration directly. You can log on to their site. We can try to help you with that if you run into a problem, but generally, you might even have some old paper statements. They don't send those out as regularly to everybody, but those paper statements, if you flip through them, you'll see where they've listed your quarters. So again, you have to be 40 quarters or more, and generally you have to be 62. Now, in some cases, you can be 60 under survivor options. Even children can get benefits, but basically 40 quarters or more, you have to be 62 years of age for most people. All right, so keep that in mind. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Teachers. A lot of people say, how come teachers don't get Social Security? Well, they're paying into the retirement system, so for teachers, this can be a problem in terms of what Social Security they get, if any, even if they've worked somewhere else. So not quite really a fair system in my opinion, but that's the case where a lot of times teachers will not get any Social Security, or it's called the windfall provision. We can help you think through that. But again, kind of a deal that is kind of a deal breaker for teachers, unfortunately, even if they've worked somewhere. All right, number 3, will Social Security go broke and leave me with nothing? Now, first of all, I don't know. I mean, currently, the way the system is going, it's in a state of flux. We don't have enough workers paying into the system, and thus the lockbox, wherever this lockbox is they keep talking about, is running out of money. Used to be 2042, they figured there wouldn't be enough money. Now it's 2036, whatever. So again, the biggest fear of savers is putting off Social Security, delaying it, let's say, to age 70, then maybe waking up one day and the government's just announced they're going to reduce the payments. And you're thinking, man, why didn't I take it at 62? So still a difficult question. What I would say, legitimate concern. For those folks that are at or near retirement, personally, I would not worry about it. I do think they're going to have to probably reduce benefits down the road. If you're in your 30s or 40s like Aaron's generation, you may want to make plans for other things. Incidentally, my son-in-law Trey is now with us. He's producing some great business, can meet with people. So we are encouraging people under the age of 50. By the way, we have no minimum account sizes. Several things we can do. So if you're sitting there and you're 30, 35 years of age and you say, man, nobody's helping me, nobody calls on me. That's because you don't have any money, folks. These big brokerage firms won't even talk to you unless you generally have $250,000 or $500,000. We have no minimum account sizes. So if we can help you, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Let's get started. If you're under the age of 40, I'll have Trey contact you. Obviously, I'll oversee everything. Let's see if we can put you on a plan to deal with possibly no Social Security down the road. We want to help you, all right? TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Should I claim my Social Security benefits early? This gets back again to the question we asked about the 62 or the 70. So what I thought we would do, I'm going to give you an example, 2 different examples of someone I worked with. So I'm going to turn to the whiteboard. Let's head over here, Aaron, and take a look at this. Okay, this particular age was a couple. They were both 62 years of age. The husband, okay, I'm going to put in parentheses, had some health issues, having trouble working. He had to even, in fact, go part-time. So if we look at his Social Security at 62, it was going to be around $1,800 a month, all right? Now, he hadn't planned on taking Social Security. The problem is his wages have gone down. So he said, well, Tony, I can work part-time, but his wife, okay, also was getting ready to take Social Security. She was no longer going to work, and this thing, the wheels were getting ready to fall off. So what we could do is have waited roughly, and I'll just put rough numbers up, till age 70, all right? So he could put this off if he wanted to, but the reality was he couldn't afford to because he was going part-time. So in this case, we took the $1,800, all right? His wife, she's eligible for 1/2 less, it's about a 35% reduction. I think this is the type of thing Lisa will do. So yeah, your wife could collect on your early Social Security, but it's reduced as well. So in our Social Security analysis, this is the type of thing we'll look at to try to make sure we've got the correct numbers in the income plan before we do that. So a lot of times we have to look at the different ages and how it affects it. Now, if you'd waited to full Social Security at 66, in his case, I think it was 66 and 4 months, and then retire, his wife could get the full 1/2 benefit with no reduction. So again, if you have questions about this, you're nearing retirement, and you're getting kind of discombobulated with all this, email Lisa at TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and she can walk you through, and we can make sure we understand where you are with your benefits. We can look at those statements and try to help you out. Now, what you could do, see, a lot of people, I'll put 70 and halfway out here, a lot of people forget that if you have a 401k or IRA, in this gentleman's case, this was kind of his savior because he had planned on or thought he could only draw his 401k out at 70 and a half. So what we did, we rolled this over. We've used some annuities as well, but we rolled this over to our Charles Schwab platform, a brokerage account with an IRA, so we could manage it for him. And we began sending him $1,000 a month out of the brokerage account. Now all of a sudden he's going, wait a minute, I'm starting to get some money. So he had his $1,800 a month. I'm going to add wages down here. I forgot, Aaron. The wages were enough to not offset his Social Security. So he's going to still work part-time, get $16,800 a year. He had a little bit of money in his money market. I told him to leave up there in case they had some emergencies. So I'll put parentheses. That's not really income. So he's got that. He's got $1,000 a month. We can send him from the brokerage account we set up with Schwab. He's going to get $1,800 a month from Social Security. His wife will get 1/2 less, a little bit of a reduction there. And he looked at that and he said, well, I can do that. That's going to work. We looked at his expenses, okay? He did have a little bit of health care costs that were higher. He didn't have any debt. So we're going to make this work for him. But we had to analyze the numbers to make sure it was going to work. And this is the same type of thing we can do for you. Now I'm going to leave that over there. Let's erase this real quick. Now we'll take another example of somebody that's 62 currently, but they're a high wage earner, an income earner. Let's say they're making a couple $100,000. I saw this come up the other day. Now, they could even take full retirement at age 66, full benefits from their Social Security, and make as much money as they wanted, and it would not offset their Social Security. And the gentleman looked at me and said, well, Tony, won't I have to pay taxes, extra taxes on my Social Security because of these high wages? And I said, yep. So what he wants to do is defer, and he's a higher wage earner. It's going to be about $3,400 a month if he waits on his Social Security. Now here's a key point that a lot of people forget. His wife, she was a high wage earner. She's already retired. She took her Social Security at 66. She's getting about $2,400. Like I said, they're both 66. He doesn't want to take his. He doesn't have to do it. She's already taking hers. But down the road, if he delays this, remember it grows at 8% a year if he delays it. If he dies first, while she loses hers, she steps up to his. So folks, you've got to understand something. There's also the survivor option issues with Social Security that many people forget. Many of you, because people have told you you won't need life insurance in retirement, which is really it's a shame you've been told that all these years, because all of this involves death. And yes, Social Security has an element of life insurance built in. So you need to think about the survivor options as well. Number 6, how much will I have to pay in taxes? Let's put up this graphic real quick. I won't go into detail, but this graphic shares with you that taxes on Social Security, just like other taxes, the more you make, the more they take. We can help with this too, folks. Question number 7, and don't forget those 401ks are going to cause a tax nightmare for your Social Security, so you better know how that works. We can help you there. Question number 7, will I get the same amount of the money that I put into the system that I'm going to get out? You know what? It may not be. Theoretically, you could pay into the Social Security system all your life, draw one check, you and your wife are killed in a common accident, and it's gone. That is the premise of any annuity, whether it's an annuity, a pension, Social Security. That's not the point. What any kind of form of mailbox money is trying to do is not try to figure out how much money you're going to make, but how much you're going to keep over the rest of your life. That's the guarantee, and that's the beauty of Social Security. So remember, mailbox money, guaranteed income you can never outlive. If both you and your spouse die, theoretically, you may not get all that you've put into the system. Finally, number 8, we're only on number 8, aren't we, Aaron? Number 8, the Social Security information, Tony, do they sometimes give misinformation? And unfortunately, yes, I have to say that. Because they do not do planning, folks. You're asking them to look up and answer questions that in many cases involve planning. So yes, sometimes you're going to get different answers depending on who you talk to. That's why we encourage you to get with us. Ultimately, you still have to get with the Social Security office during drawing those benefits. Let us give you an opportunity to see what we can do for you. Number 9, if I work, do I still get my benefits? Depends on your age. We just talked about that. If you're full retirement, you can make as much money as you want. If you're not at full retirement, be careful. And then finally, number 10, what impact has a negative impact on my Social Security benefits? It depends on your age. So age is the huge deal. Age affects the benefits, when the taxes might occur, when the offsets might occur, when the surviving spouse might get something. So again, what I would suggest when we meet to go over your benefits, let's consider your age, your longevity, your life expectancy, and let's be realistic about all of these questions when devising your retirement income plan. I hope this helps. Again, we are here to help you with your Social Security questions and retirement questions. Just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started button. We'll be happy to help you. We got a couple of minutes left for the Bible. So what does it say about Social Security? Nothing, but it does have something to say about eternal security. Got to get me a cup of coffee? Be right back.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Can you afford for your money to take a hit with the stock market being so volatile these days? Nobody can time the market, but having a retirement game plan with Tony Walker Financial gives you peace of mind and sleep insurance. Learn how to prevent losses in your retirement accounts and plan your retirement around an income you can never outlive. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com today to schedule a personal meeting with Tony to secure your hard-earned money. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Did you realize that there is only one investment that can guarantee an income you can never outlive? That's right, and it's called an annuity. Long before other advisors were on TV and radio talking about annuities, I was there sharing the pros and cons of these valuable retirement planning products. I'm Tony Walker, and since 9/11, I've personally secured over 2,000 annuities for savers in Kentucky and Indiana, and I want to help you too. To learn more about annuities, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Oh yeah, a good cup of coffee, and welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. We're about out of time here. We always want to save just a minute or two for what the Bible has to say about money. You know, when you think about security, I think that really means how secure are you with the future? And I hate to kind of put the fear of Social Security into you, but I think that's what really evokes fear. We're thinking about the future of Social Security possibly not being there, and then we got to say, well, can we depend on Social Security, and who's promising what? And in man's world, folks, we got to understand nothing is 100% guaranteed. I don't care what it is. So this idea of being secure is really a misnomer. But that's not so with God. In fact, I'm going to paraphrase just a very brief portion. Look at this verse. Let's put this up full screen, Aaron. This is 2 Timothy 4:8. And I'm going to paraphrase just the first portion of that. All it says is, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. So think about this, something that is laid up for you. He's talking about heaven here. And that crown of righteousness, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, is guaranteed to be waiting for you. No more fears, no more worries, no more running out of money, none of that stuff. So again, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, sometimes I think we don't take hold of these promises laid out. Look at 2 Timothy 4:8. Dwell on it, meditate on it, and I guarantee you, you'll certainly quit worrying about your money and, of course, things like Social Security. In the meantime, you may be saying, well, Tony, that's all well and good. That's a great verse of Scripture, but I got to make some decisions here. This is the real world. Well, we want to help you. If we can be of help to you and sit down in person, yes, I meet with my clients in person. Yeah, I'm the TV show host. I've done the author thing and all that, but I want to meet with you in person. We have 2 offices, Bowling Green and Louisville. It's really easy to do. There's no cost or obligation. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's program. I've enjoyed being with you. Remember, between now and next time, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.
Thank you for watching the Worry-Free Retirement with Tony Walker. If you need a safe and simple game plan for your retirement, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and schedule a free, no-obligation meeting with Tony.